Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another podcast. I'm here to deprogram you. I'm gonna tell you what, there's a lot of people like call themselves red pill and everything. They call themselves red pill, they think they took the red pill. It's like, no, you still in the matrix, fam. You ain't really take the red pill, maybe you took a colored substitute or something. Because you still program with the same stuff, or you think it, or you actually what really happens. A lot of people, they'll come out of what they wherever they were, and then get programmed again with some like false stuff. You know, one of the biggest things, and that's been a theme, this past week or really past couple of weeks about the looks, money, status thing. That's a program in there. That's a programming. You got guys, they'll come on here and say, oh, it's looks, money, and status, but then they can never explain, or they don't have a concept that there's people who getting women without any of those things. They don't have looks or status, or they average looking, don't have money, don't have status, yet they staying in some quality pussy. And they got women throwing themselves at them. And they can't, or it don't have to be that. It could be anything, but they can never explain the exception. They might be the thing about height. They'll say, oh, these women don't want a guy under 5'7". And it's funny, I could say that, and I've said that on some videos about, some guys of shorter stature getting theirs in. And I've had some guys come in on the videos and co-sign it. Look. Here's the thing. Most people, and I want to refer to an interview I did with Master Yao. Just go through my archives. It's the most recent one. It's the Rom Wills show featuring Master Yao, and he talked about the amygdala and how that can really program a person. You got to challenge that program, because what happens is people get stuck. And then no matter how much you show them evidence to the contrary, they stay with it. They go with that narrative, but the narrative isn't serving them. I mean, it'd be different if the narrative is actually working for you. But in most cases, it's not, because if you ask the person, okay, let's use the looks, money, status thing. All right. Has that served you? Have you made enough money or got the status to serve you to see what's up? Or even the looks thing. Because to me, it's funny. I get a lot of guys that get on here and they'll say, well, hold up. People tell me I'm good looking, or they know somebody good looking, and they still not getting play. So obviously, isn't that the truth? Now, you got some evidence for some things happening with it, but it's an art, not a science. It's not the absolute. In fact, that's what I've always said, why I don't really, I don't get into this, like people trying to compare information from dating coaches. Everybody's just doing it from their perspective. See, my thing, though, if I challenge something, it's to deprogram you. It's to deprogram you. Like, I'll give you an example. When I first time I started coaching, like formally coaching, was around 2002. Now, my book, Nice Guys and Players, had been out a while. The guys I was getting earlier are guys who went through the whole PUA thing. And they were programmed with a certain set of beliefs. So I had to spend a lot of time just deprogramming them. I had to deprogram them. I was like, man, I was just told so much fucked up information. So I had to deprogram these guys, and I had to get them to think and look at things a different way. And this is something I described before. I remember I had a guy, and he was kind of into that money and status thing. He was into it, also some PUA shit. But then I had him, and this was actually a live coaching session where I actually had him doing tasks. He paid me some money. I had him doing different tasks. It was at the flea market that I used to sell books at. And I specifically had him, I told this one before, remember, I specifically had him come in where he couldn't show his status. He was dressed like a bum. And the most you could say is he had some look. But he wasn't that tall. He was only about 5'7". So I specifically had him do stuff, and then I had stuff to do that went against everything he had been taught before. And then he started by the end of the day, he was like, man, okay, I'm starting to see some stuff. Because I took away his props. And see, here, with a lot of stuff I say, people, I'm here to say, hey, look, you don't need that. Try it. Because, see, that's one of the things, too. Sometimes people get so stuck that they'll hear something, and it's a concept. It's called moral order programming. Once you think something is a certain way or supposed to happen a certain way, people stick with it. In fact, you could actually kill somebody if you interrupt their programming or show that their programming is false, or at least cause them some serious pain. That's how deep it is. Because once we programmed a certain way, our bodies respond to it. Our bodies respond to it. Our blood pressure, all our systems respond to it if we think we're supposed to do something. Even in the way we walk, our voice intonation, everything is really based on our thoughts and our talking and what your beliefs are. So if you do anything to do that, it's like a smart weapon, really. It's a smart weapon. And that's actually a weapon terrorists use, but I'm not going to get into that too deep. But the key, if whatever here's what y'all got to say to yourselves. Okay, I have this belief system. This is how it is. Is that belief system working for you? I want you to think about that. Is that belief system working for you? And this is something that could go on deep thought, but I want to specifically have the men who come to this channel. The men who come to this channel, they doing so to either get women or to justify why they walking away from women. And as I've said before, I prefer the ones who normally just get women and then want to learn how to manage them better. But you have to ask yourself, okay, you've had this particular belief system. Is it working for you? Okay, you saying money, you might say, okay, it takes money. It takes money. Okay, has that actually worked for you? And then if you do say, well, I don't know, I haven't made money yet. Okay, so logically, if you think that's what it takes, what have you done to get money or status? If you think that's what it takes. Or if you add the looks part in, have you tried to improve your looks? Think about it. So if that's not the case, if that's the case, that's what you believe, how come you're not trying to obtain those things? Like really working hard. And then the funny thing is, some people might have it and actually obtain those things, but they'll say, well, hold up, I'm still not happy. That's because it might have been false to begin with. See, everything I talk about and tell you to deprogram you, I don't do it on theory. If I haven't seen it worked, and sometimes I say most of the time I have to see it or trust the word of somebody. But if I tell you something specific, to do something specific, that's only because I've seen it work. Like multiple times, not just one time with one person either. I don't take that. But I had to see something work with about 20 people before I'll share it. Like all the information I share, all the things I'll say to do is only because I've seen at least 20 people do it and it worked for them. I don't even count stuff that I might have done because I always feel like I'm unique. But if I've seen something happen or with about 20 people, boom. And also, too, if I've seen it not really work for about 20 people, I'm like, oh, hold up, y'all. You got to look at this. But at the bottom line, whenever I'm saying stuff, it's to deprogram you. Just to get you to think a different way. Because that's the key to everything. You got to get rid of any false beliefs. So anyway, that's all I got for you today. I'll talk to you later. Peace and blessings.